The images that you see here are pictures that were taken with both the N900 camera, and some images were taken with a screenshot application that I downloaded from a third party. Okay? When you come across an image that you want to take a look at, you can tap it with your stylus or your fingertip, and the image appears right before you. Now, whenever you have an image right in front of you, you have commands at the bottom of the photo, which are self-explanatory to a certain degree. You have your delete function with the trash can. You have your share function, where you can go through Bluetooth, email, or share via an online service, which I have Facebook connected to my N900. Or you have the tag function, okay? Or you have the cropping function, all right? We're not going to do anything with cropping, so we're going to go back to the photo. And then you have the rotate function. Now, whenever you want to do anything else with the photo, you also have other commands that are available at the top part of the screen when you tap it. You have save, rename, set as avatar, edit the image, save as, mark as favorite, set as background image, and then you also have details that give you additional information about the image itself. That you can also edit the image, but don't get me wrong, this kind of editing, it's not really anything to write home about. It's basically the most fundamental way of editing an image. You can flip it horizontally, you can remove red eye, or you can resize it, flip it vertically, or change the brightness and contrast of the photo. And right now I'm going to show you the brightness and contrast change function. See? Okay? All right? No matter what direction you have the N900, the picture will automatically adjust itself to the accelerometer, which is very nice. You will see the slideshow icon at the bottom part of the screen here. You simply tap that area to activate the slideshow. And once again, the slideshow function is basic. There's nothing to write home about in regards to on-screen effects. It pretty much just goes through the pictures one by one in the most basic fashion. So when you're in the midst of your slideshow, you will notice that the one way to stop it is to take your stylus and simply tap it on the screen. And you will see that the slideshow has ended. And that same slideshow icon appeared at the bottom of the screen again. Whenever you want to delete a photo, you have the option to delete multiple images. When you click that, you simply tap a photo that you want to delete, and it highlights it with a white border. And whenever you're done highlighting all of the images that you want to have gone, you simply tap the delete command and it happens. And of course, it asks you before you delete all the images, and you can choose yes or no. In this case, I'm going to choose no. So if you want to delete an individual image, you can simply select one and hold it down with the stylus, and then you have a number of different options to choose from. Share, delete, mark as favorite, or look up details. And when you're on the thumbnail images on the desktop of the photo gallery, you simply click on all images, and it gives you additional ways to organize the photos. You can filter them by folder, filter them by tags, by date. You can edit tags on different images. You can delete, share images, or look up settings for the photo gallery itself. And this brings up a way to sort it by either the date, by name. You can group them by month, display metadata indicators. And then at the bottom, you have the settings for the slideshow, which I told you guys is bare bones. You simply only have the option to operate the playback speed of the slideshow and nothing more. And then once you're done, you click done. And then once you're done, you're brought back to the main folder showing all of the images. you can simply activate the camera by opening up the physical slider on the lens, just like on the old N97. So that's what we're going to do now to activate the camera. We're going to take this sliding lens cover, open it up, and then boom, the camera application appears right before your eyes. Once you have the camera application open in front of you and you see the viewfinder, you have two ways to have the viewfinder activated. You can have the viewfinder take up the entire screen of the N900, or you can have it take up a portion to have the upper taskbar in appearance above. To the right, you have your exit command, your mode command to change the kind of setting you want to have for your picture. You have automatic, macro, portrait, landscape, and action. And then below here, you have the video mode, which is the one way to turn on the camcorder function of the N900. Below that, you have your settings function symbolized by the wrench. You tap that, and it brings up the capture settings: white balance, ISO sensitivity, exposure, and resolution. Okay? And then below that, you have the flash function, which is self-explanatory. And then below that, you have access to the photo library itself, which I've showed you before. Okay, so we're going to get out of that and head back to the camera. In the image mode for the N900 camera, you will see 4 different icons on the lower left-hand side of the viewfinder. You will see the numerical identification tag for the photo that's about to be taken. And then next to that, you have 3 icons that serve as shortcuts to additional settings on the camera. You have your memory card icon that basically serves as a function showing which kind of memory is going to be saving the picture. And then when you tap on it, it gives you settings to the memory in use, and if you can change it if you want. And then you can also change the duration for how long the picture is going to appear once it's taken. Next to that, you have an icon showing the resolution of the picture. You have 2 choices: high resolution or widescreen resolution. The next icon you have is the satellite dish icon, which stands for geotagging. And you can basically tap on it to enable or disable this function on the N900. And then in the central part of the viewfinder, you of course have your brackets for autofocusing. And to autofocus, you simply take the physical camera shutter key, hold it down halfway, and let the camera do its thing. We have green brackets. We hold down the shutter key. It takes the picture, processes it, shows it for 4 seconds. You see the geotagging function working just fine. And then boom, it's gone to the photo gallery. If you want to take a look at it, we can access the photo gallery with this icon being tapped. And then right there, we have the camera function. Next thing we're going to look at is the camcorder. And the one way to go to that is to select your camera mode and go into automatic video to bring up the camcorder. The camcorder function has settings also on the right side of the viewfinder. You have your typical exit command with the X. Then you have the camera mode symbolized by the camera. Then you have your settings for the video capture with the wrench, for white balance and then exposure. Then you have access to the media player library with the icon at the bottom. In the lower left-hand corner of the viewfinder, you will see the amount of time left to be able to record video with this device. And then you also have the 2 shortcut icons for memory and for geotagging, and they work just the same as in image mode as they do on camcorder mode. Once you're done with the camera, you can get out of it in one of 2 ways. You can either tap the X in the upper right-hand corner of the viewfinder, or you can simply close the protective cover of the lens to get out of the application. And boom, you're taken right back to the home screen. Hey guys, this is Trent, and I'm doing a video capture test of two different Nokia devices today. The Nokia N900 as well as the Nokia E72. These two models are very different from the operating systems that they both run. The E72 running off of Symbian and the Nokia N900 running off of Maemo. So far, from what I've captured from the N900 in previous videos, I am not that impressed, to be quite honest with you. There have been moments of brief skipping every now and then in the midst of capturing video with the Nokia N900. The E72 also has 5 megapixels added to its camera lens. The only difference being that it doesn't have a Carl Zeiss lens like the N900. Now, with all of that being said, it is still a very huge improvement from the camera on the E71. Now, from what I've seen on the Nokia N900, the camera experience that is offered is pretty much basic. You have a typical camera that has macro mode, you have landscape, you have action, you have a portrait mode, and then you have basic video, and that's pretty much it. Whereas with the E72, it appears to be much more fully featured with panorama mode, the video light mode, and you can't really go wrong with the E72. It feels like it's a more well-rounded camera unit than the N900, and I just have to be honest and come out with that. Now, from what you can see, the video light does appear to get the job done when it comes to illuminating all of the surroundings in capturing video. It does a very good job. Whereas, unfortunately, the N900 doesn't have a video light, so if you happen to be in a dark situation, you're basically stuck with only the red recording light, which is highly unfortunate and quite surprising, being that this is supposed to be a high-end device running a premier operating system that comes from the internet tablet line. So at this point, I would have to say that the E72 honestly has a much better camera than that of the high-end N900.